Ray giving this to me is so cool because I'm a massive fan of hers. It's just like
What
this.
if one of the biggest pop stars on the planet just made a move so unexpected, it left even Hollywood legends being talked about again? That's exactly what happened when Taylor Swift quietly dropped a brand new music video, and within minutes, fans realized something felt completely different. No flashy new scenes. No big cinematic storyline. Just something almost haunting. At first, people didn't fully understand what they were watching. But as the video unfolded, it became clear this wasn't just another release, it was something far more deliberate, and way more emotional than anyone expected. And then came the twist that changed everything. Because this wasn't just a music video, it was a direct tribute to one of Hollywood's most iconic and controversial figures, Elizabeth Taylor. But here's where things get interesting. This tribute didn't just spark admiration, it opened the door to a much bigger conversation about fame, legacy, and whether Taylor Swift is quietly stepping into a role no one saw coming. And what happened next had fans completely divided. It all started without any warning. No big announcement. No countdown. No teaser campaign flooding social media. Taylor Swift simply dropped the video, and within minutes, fans were scrambling to figure out what they had just watched. At first glance, it didn't feel like a typical release. There were no new shots of Swift, no dramatic storyline, no familiar visual style that fans had come to expect. Instead, the entire video unfolded through a series of vintage clips, glamorous, emotional, and deeply nostalgic, and then it hit. Every single frame featured Elizabeth Taylor, not recreated scenes, not inspired visuals. Actual archival footage, moments pulled straight from the life and career of one of Hollywood's most legendary figures. From iconic film scenes to intimate glimpses behind the spotlight, the video felt less like a music release, and more like a time capsule. Fans were stunned, some immediately called it beautiful and bold. Others were confused, wondering why one of the biggest artists in the world would release a video where she doesn't even appear. The comment sections lit up fast, with reactions ranging from emotional praise to pure disbelief, and just as the internet began to spiral with theories and debates, something even more unexpected happened. As the reactions kept pouring in, no one expected the next voice to enter the conversation, the official estate of Elizabeth Taylor, and instead of staying silent, or worse, distancing themselves from the project, they did the exact opposite. They stepped forward with a statement that instantly changed the tone of the entire situation. According to their representative, they were deeply moved by what Taylor Swift had created. Not just impressed, but genuinely emotional. They described the video as extraordinary, praising its complete dedication to Elizabeth's legacy. What stood out the most was how specific they got. They highlighted the fact that the video was made entirely from archival footage, calling it a pure devotion to Elizabeth Taylor, and saying it captured both her public brilliance and her private, more intimate moments. In their words, it wasn't just a tribute, it was an homage in the truest sense. And that kind of reaction? It's rare. Celebrity estates are usually careful, controlled, and protective over how a legend's image is used. But here, they didn't just approve it, they celebrated it. They even emphasized how Elizabeth lived unapologetically, balancing fame and personal life in a way that made her truly unique. But just when it seemed like this was simply a respectful tribute, the estate said something that took things to a whole new level, and then came the line that no one saw coming. The estate didn't just praise the video, they drew a direct comparison between Elizabeth Taylor and Taylor Swift. According to their statement, if there is anyone today who understands the intense pressure of global fame, constant scrutiny, and living under a microscope, it's Taylor Swift. They pointed out how both women navigated massive attention while still holding onto a sense of control over their personal lives, and just like that, the conversation shifted, because comparing anyone to Elizabeth Taylor isn't casual, it's bold. We're talking about a woman who defined Hollywood for decades, dominated headlines with her relationships, and built a legacy that most stars never even come close to touching. So when the estate essentially suggested that Swift operates on that same level, fans immediately took notice. Some saw it as a powerful moment, proof that Swift has officially crossed into icon territory. Others weren't so convinced, questioning whether it was too early, or even too far of a stretch. Social media started heating up fast, with people debating one big question: is Taylor Swift really the modern-day Elizabeth Taylor, or is this comparison going way too far? And that's when things started getting a little messy, and almost instantly, the internet split into two completely different sides. On one hand, fans were calling it one of the most creative moves Taylor Swift has ever made. They praised the emotional depth, the respect shown to Elizabeth Taylor, and the bold decision to step back and let a legend take the spotlight. For them, It wasn't just a music video, it felt like art, but not everyone was convinced. A growing number of viewers started questioning the choice, asking why one of the biggest stars in the world would release a video where she doesn't even appear. Some comments went as far as calling it confusing, while others suggested it felt more like a tribute piece than an actual music video, and then the debate got even louder. Was this a genius, high-level artistic decision, or was it a safe move disguised as something deeper? And this is where things start to feel a lot less random, because when it comes to Taylor Swift, fans know one thing for sure: almost nothing she does is accidental. There's been a wave of discussion online, with many viewers pointing out that this kind of move fits perfectly into a pattern. Swift has built an entire career on hidden messages, layered storytelling, and decisions that only fully make sense after you step back and connect the dots. So naturally, theories started pouring in. Some fans believe this wasn't just a tribute, it was a statement. A quiet way of aligning herself with the kind of legacy that Elizabeth Taylor represents. Not just fame, but longevity. Not just popularity, but cultural impact that lasts for decades. Others have suggested the timing is just as important as the video itself. The release during International Women's Month didn't go unnoticed. It's been said that choosing this moment could be Swift's way of highlighting powerful women across generations, linking her own influence to someone who broke boundaries long before social media even existed. Looking back at Elizabeth Taylor's life, it's easy to see why she became such an enduring icon and why honoring her carries so much weight. She wasn't just a screen legend, she was a force of nature. Oscar-winning performances in films like Butterfield 8 and Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf cemented her talent, but it was her personal life that made her unforgettable. A whirlwind of relationships, high-profile marriages, and scandals kept her constantly in the public eye, yet she somehow maintained a level of dignity and charisma that commanded respect. Beyond the spotlight, she was fiercely private, protective of her family, and deeply devoted to the causes she cared about, including HIV/AIDS activism, which cemented her legacy as more than just a glamorous star. The duality of her existence, the balance between an unapologetic public persona and a carefully guarded private life, is part of what makes her story so compelling. It's this same duality that makes Taylor Swift's video resonate so strongly. By using archival footage, Swift doesn't just showcase Taylor's glitz and glamour, she highlights the depth, the complexity, and the humanity behind the icon. Fans are reminded that being a legend isn't just about fame, it's about navigating life under a microscope while staying true to yourself. In the end, this isn't just a music video. It's a bridge between generations, a conversation across decades, and a statement about what it means to live and thrive under the relentless spotlight of fame. Taylor Swift didn't just honor Elizabeth Taylor, she positioned herself in the same conversation, daring fans and critics alike to consider her legacy beyond the charts and headlines. Every archival frame, every carefully chosen moment, tells a story of resilience, courage, and the delicate balance between public life and private truth. And while fans continue to debate whether this was purely tribute or a strategic move, one thing is clear: it sparked dialogue, inspired reflection, and reminded the world why legends, both past and present, hold such fascination. Perhaps the most intriguing question now isn't about Elizabeth Taylor, it's about Taylor Swift herself. Has she quietly begun a new chapter, one where her influence, artistry, and persona are being etched into history the way only a handful of icons ever achieve? Whatever the answer, this video proves one undeniable truth: when you honor the past thoughtfully, you have the power to reshape the present and maybe even define the future. The story of Elizabeth Taylor lives on. And with this tribute, a new layer of Taylor Swift's story has just begun.